Hello, everybody. My name is Sabrina, and welcome to my Queen of Shadows book talk. Okay, so I have quite a few things to discuss about this book. It's not exactly a review, it's more of like a discussion of everything that happens. So if you're interested in hearing me talk about that, then stay around. This is the fourth book in the Throne of Glass series. The first book, as I mentioned, is Throne of Glass, and it is about an assassin named Selena, and she is chosen by the prince to participate in a competition to be the king's champion. And that's all that I can say, and we've come a long way since that book, so if you haven't read the other books, I wouldn't recommend watching this video, so go ahead and read the books and then come back if you'd like to. Okay, so Queen of Shadows. I really enjoyed this book. This is the second time that I'm reading this book, and I have to say that the second time around I liked it a lot better. It's probably because the first time that I read this book, it took me like a month to read, and that is probably why I didn't remember much this time around. So most of what I read was actually quite a pleasant surprise because obviously I'd read it before and I knew the overall story, and it felt like I was reading it for the first time. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Okay, so we start off the book with Aline coming back to Adarlan, and one of the first things that she does is go look for Arobynn, and we find out that he's meeting with Chaol, which I have to say, I was shocked at that. I did not remember that at all. And to be honest, I don't know how I feel about Chaol going to Arobynn. Knowing everything that he did to Aline, like, I understand that he wanted to save Aedion and save Dorian, but still, going to Arobynn is never a good idea. Something that I really enjoyed about this book is the friendship that forms between Aline and Lysandra. Obviously, both girls in the past had a lot of like conflict with each other and they didn't like each other very much, but I feel like that was mainly because they were jealous of each other. Aline was jealous of Lysandra for the attention that she got from Arobynn and Sam and just pretty much everyone. And the same goes for Lysandra. Lysandra also felt that Aline had a lot of attention that she didn't have, so it made her be jealous of her. And I feel like in real life that's something that happens a lot of the time. Girls tend to get jealous towards each other, and because of that jealousy, they start hating each other and doing things to each other that they shouldn't be doing. So I really loved the fact that Aline and Lysandra start to realize that being friends is the best way to go for them, and they form such a beautiful friendship. And the fact that her friendship with Lysandra obviously is very different from her friendship with Nehemia, which is one of the first female friends that we see with Aline. And when we discover that Lysandra is a shapeshifter, you can see the inner battle of Aline to see if she can trust Lysandra because she kept such a huge secret from her when Nehemia did the same. But obviously Nehemia had like her own agenda, and she hid things from Aline in order to manipulate Aline into doing things that she otherwise wouldn't have done. Obviously Lysandra's intentions are completely different, and they were more about protecting not only herself but everyone around her from discovering like this big secret that could potentially endanger their lives. And also Aline hid from Lysandra the fact that she is Aline, and she's able to understand perfectly why she did it. Another scene that I really loved is when Aline tells Lysandra that she is free and that she paid all her debts off. I love that scene. I love the fact that even in a situation when they're both emotional, they're able to joke around and, you know, just be friends and love each other. I think that was a very special moment, and I really, really loved it. Another important part of the book, obviously, was Adian's rescue. It was actually quite clever because she ended up kind of accusing Arobynn of being the one to do it, or like one of Arobynn's associates. I just think that was so clever of her to do, and I really loved it. And I love the fact that she and Adian, like, when they're finally able to talk, like, the first thing that they do is like tell each other everything that has happened to them since they got separated. And I know that for Aline, that's especially like a very touchy subject, since the only other person that she's told is Rowan. And obviously Adian is her cousin, and he has lived like a very similar life to her, in the fact that he too was like taken away from his family and kind of forced to work for someone that had not the best intentions. In his case, like the king. In Aline's case, like Arobynn. So they had very similar upbringings, and you can definitely tell that, because even though they've been apart for a really long time, they still have the same personalities, and they fight quite a lot. And it's so special to know that even though they've been apart for 10 years, nothing has changed between them, and they still love each other, and they act like no time has passed at all. Another friendship that I really enjoyed in this book, I'm just here for all the friendships. Like, female friendships are awesome, and I love them, and give them to me, is Manon and Elide, and also Manon and Astrine. I just think those two friendships were very important for Manon's character development in this book. Obviously, Manon is like a very cold and rule-following person, and everything that her grandmother tells her to do, she will do. But obviously, Astrine starts questioning her loyalty to her grandmother in this book, and Manon starts to realize that maybe her grandmother is not the right person to follow, and she doesn't have their best interest at heart. And Manon like really takes that to heart, and obviously she cares about her 13. And when Aline saves Manon's life, and the fact that she saved her life because obviously Manon means the world to Astrine, and how Astrine screamed her name the same way that Aline screamed Rowan's name, just means so much, and goes to show that sometimes friendships are just as important, if not more, than romantic relationships. And as I said before, also Elide and Manon's friendship meant a lot to me. Elide is quite a weaker character, I would say, or not exactly weaker, but that's the way that Manon sees her. She sees her as weak, as human, and someone that's just not worth her time at all. Obviously, that changes with time. They start seeing each other in a different light, and they are able to overcome the fact that Manon's like a witch, and she does not befriend humans because they're not worth her time. And Elide overcomes her fear of the witches and actually embraces the fact that she herself has witch blood. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed that aspect of the book. And actually one of the most heartbreaking scenes was when Elide thought that Manon didn't remember her, like, and she wouldn't come rescue her when she's taken hostage. So this is one of the saddest quotes from the book. It says, she wondered if anyone would even remember her name when she was dead, if it would ever be carved anywhere. She knew the answer and knew there was no one coming for her. Obviously, that was not true. Manon went for her, she rescued her, and that was such an amazing rescue scene as well. Which brings me to the next part, which is Keltane. I did not remember that she made an appearance in this book, and I did not remember what happens with her. We find out that she has power, and I was very interested at the fact that she has fire. Obviously her power is a bit different from Aileen's. She has shadow magic. Oh, no shadow magic. Shadow fire, and that was super interesting. And obviously when she helps rescue Elide and how she sacrifices herself, obviously I don't see her as sacrificing herself for Elide, but for herself, because of the terrible things that had happened to her up to that point, and she kind of takes advantage of the fact that Elide and Manon are running away with the 13 and everything that's happening. It's just a very convenient time to like do what she's about to do and like burn everything to the ground and just leave no traces. And I thought that was a very, very powerful scene, because not only did she free herself, but also the poor witches that were being used to breed the demon babies that were just so creepy and disturbing, that I'm so glad that we never got to actually see. The other thing that I really enjoyed was Manon and Aileen's fight scene. That was epic. Obviously they have very similar personalities, and that's why I think they clashed so much, and why their fight scene was so intense. And the fact that Aileen even says that one of the reasons that she didn't kill Manon is because she was a great fighter and didn't deserve to die in that way. And obviously Manon pays that like life debt. Telling Aileen about Dorian, which, oh my god, the scene between Dorian and Manon in this book is amazing. I really love their relationship. The fact that Dorian was flirting with him and it was actually Dorian, not the Valak Prince. I really liked that. And the scene where she reveals that Dorian is still in there actually gave me chills. One sentence that changed everything. Witchkiller, the human, is still inside him. Oh my god. That phrase, just, it gave me chills, and I loved it so much. And of course that changed everything, because Chaol and Aileen's plan was to kill Dorian. So the fact that he was still in there gave them hope. The fact that the king was being possessed by another Valak prince was a big shocker. And I really enjoyed the fact that the king, like the actual king, was still inside trying to protect Dorian. When he revealed that he took away magic in order to protect Dorian, I was so touched by that. I think that's everything I have to say about this book. Obviously, there are a lot of things that happened in this book, but if I talked about everything, this would be like a very long video, and I just wanted to do like a little book talk. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to comment. Please tell me if you like this book, if you don't like this book, just your opinions on everything. That would be great. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Goodbye!